John, thank you. Let's bring in Missouri Republican Congressman Jason Smith. He's the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. So where does all this go next? What's your goal?
You know, right now we're continuing to follow the facts, what we've been doing all along. And we are here today, and I think it's important to remind ourselves, it's because of the two IRS whistleblowers that came forward to the House Ways and Means Committee. If they wouldn't have came forward, that plea agreement that you all were just talking about would have never been stopped, because that sweetheart plea agreement was released 2 days before the IRS whistleblower information was released, and that is what blew up the entire agreement. And there would never have been charges in California, which are the exact same charges that the two IRS whistleblowers had said that they recommended years before, but the Justice Department refused to do it.
Really?
Right now,
keep going. Go ahead.
Sandra, right now we are moving ahead. Tomorrow we have Kevin Morris that's coming in for depositions. We have a lot of questions to ask of him. To remember, Kevin Morris is the individual who paid more than $2 million of Hunter's back taxes, plus an additional couple $1 million just to sustain his living. And we found out last week that he was the one who purchased more artwork of Hunter Biden's than anyone else, $875,000 worth for 11 pieces.
All right, Congressman, this was Carrie Kupak-Urban. She joined us on this program last hour. She says she thinks the DOJ is not playing around with this anymore. Listen.
I think that DOJ's posture now is we're not playing any more games. We're tired of being jerked around. If you're going to mess with us, we're going to be aggressive. And that's what that filing spoke to, I thought.
You thinking along the same lines there, Congressman?
I think the DOJ just needs to do their job. And regardless if it's the president's son or not, they need to treat him just like they would treat anyone else. And that had not been the case, according to the IRS whistleblowers. What they highlighted to the Ways and Means Committee is that the Department of Justice was doing things that were so untypical of any investigation that they'd ever been a part of. So I'm hopeful that the Justice Department will do what's right and treat him just like you would treat any other American.
Adding to all this is the lawyer, Congressman, for the IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, disputing allegations in the Hunter Biden lawsuit. Listen here.
Abby Lowell and Hunter Biden have been out there saying, that these charges were only brought because our whistleblowers who empower oversight, my nonprofit has worked with, brought this information to the public. If you read that indictment, this is not just from some Republican pressure on Capitol Hill. It's not just from some pressure from the whistleblowers. These are very, very serious charges, but backed up by very, very serious evidence.
Your thoughts on that, Congressman?
It's exactly what the IRS whistleblower said. All 9 charges that were brought in California are exactly the charges that the IRS whistleblowers recommended years earlier. But of course, the prosecutor at that time didn't move forward.
Really interesting. And as I mentioned in your piece, it's on foxnews.com right now on the Biden impeachment process. You say this: if Biden impeachment inquiry is invalid, why has the president lied about his complicity? You write, if Joe Biden was financially involved in his son's business dealings or influenced U.S. policy in exchange for financial favors for him or his family, the American people deserve to know. However, one thing you say is clear: President Biden's word can no longer be trusted. Explain.
Well, there's several examples. One prime example is on the debate stage that President Biden had with President Trump, where President Trump accused him of his son taking money from the Chinese, and he said that's absolutely not true. We know that that is false because we've heard the IRS whistleblower say that money came from the Chinese to Hunter Biden. We also know that bank records prove that, and the bank records don't only show that it came from Chinese entities, but also the money filtered to President Biden himself. He said that he knew nothing about his son's business dealings. We know that that's not true. And he said that he wasn't involved. And we can see clearly that he was hosting a lot of his son's business partners for access to the White House.
Got it. Congressman, appreciate you joining us on all of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sandra.
All right, John.